Good morning, readers. Well, today is release day for A Fateful Plateful, which is the next book in the Auntie Clem's Bakery series. It's been a little while since we had one come out from this series, so I know some of you have been looking forward to that. And as usual, I think I will kick off the book today with a short reading. There was lots of good stuff to choose from in the first couple of chapters here. So I'm going to skip around a little bit since May is Celiac Disease Awareness Month. I will include one passage that talks a little bit about celiac disease, and I'm skipping across to another one as well. Hopefully my voice will hold out for both of these chapters. Erin tucked a stray lock of dark hair back under the baker's hat, rolling her eyes at how her hair was always pulling out of whatever clips she tried to tame it with. On the other hand, Vic always looked sleek and professional, her fine blonde hair done up in a bun or a French braid, makeup perfect, each line of her clothing lying just the right way. Erin always felt like an ugly duckling when compared to her transgender employee and best friend. Vic gave her a smile of sympathy, and they turned their attention to the small mob of Fosters waiting to be served. The Fosters were Erin's favorite customers, if she allowed herself to pick favorites, which she knew she shouldn't. But she couldn't help herself. Most of the reason was young Peter Foster, the oldest of the children, who had severe celiac disease. Erin opening up the gluten-free bakery in Bald Eagle Falls had changed his life for the better. He now had a choice of anything in the store, instead of being limited to the single brand of dry, gluten-free bread that the grocery store carried, and boxes of commercial gluten-free cookies, which only came in a couple of varieties. He tried to herd his younger sisters and to direct them as to what they should do, helping Mrs. Foster the best he could. Still, sometimes his attempts backfired, and he ended up causing a fight with the girls instead of keeping them in line. "Chocolate!" Tracy insisted, getting her fingerprints all over the display case as she pointed insistently at the chocolate chunk cookies at her eye level. "Want chocolate! Chocolate!" Her voice rose insistently. The baby of the family, until just recently, she was used to getting her way. It must be hard for her to understand why the new baby in Mrs. Foster's sling had changed everything so much for her. Somebody else was the center of attention now. Everyone fussed over him, and he stole Tracy's mother's time from her. "Okay," Peter told her, trying to shush her. "I hear you, Tracy. You want the chocolate cookie." He rolled his eyes dramatically at Erin. "Can Tracy please have a chocolate chunk cookie for her kids' club cookie?" He looked down at Tracy and tapped her on the top of the head. "Say please." "Please," Tracy demanded, looking at Erin and jabbing her finger in the direction of the chocolate chunk cookies several more times for emphasis. "Please, chocolate, that one." Erin followed Tracy's pointing finger through the glass and touched one of the cookies with her gloved hand. "This one?" "No, that one." Erin moved over one cookie. "This one?" Tracy nodded. Erin pulled it out and put it in a napkin for Tracy. "Okay, and how about the rest of you cookie monsters?" Karen and Jody laughed at this, and each picked out which cookies they wanted, ignoring Peter's attempts to try to get samples of as many different kinds of cookies as he could. Not that he hadn't already tasted everything Erin had on offer. It was about time to mix things up and add a couple of new varieties of cookies to get people's attention, and some Easter cutouts. "How is everything?" Erin asked once the children were munching on their kids' club cookies more quietly. "You're getting back into the swing of things?" "Trying to," Mrs. Foster agreed. "It seems a little bit harder this time. Maybe I'm getting too old to keep doing this. Maybe we should stop at 5. Erin shook her head. "You're amazing with them. I can't imagine being able to wrangle that many. Even just thinking about how I'd fit one baby into my life, I don't think I could do it." "It gets easier after the first 2 or 3. Mrs. Foster jiggled and looked down at the baby cradled in the sling. "Until you end up with one with colic or who has a more demanding personality. After Peter and the girls, I thought I had it all figured out. It was easy. But this one," she bounced Alan up and down. He has his own ideas of how things should be done, like what time he eats and sleeps. I think he has allergies. Oh no. What about celiac disease? You don't think he's celiac like Peter, do you? We'll have to get him tested, I guess, once he starts eating solid foods. He shouldn't be getting gluten through my milk, but he definitely reacts negatively to some of the stuff I eat, like peppers. This little man does not do well with peppers. Poor guy. Well, if you need anything special for your diet, you be sure to let me know. You don't need to worry about peppers in anything but the pizza bread, but if you identify anything else, I'll make sure you still have other options. Mrs. Foster smiled and nodded. You're so accommodating to everyone. I have no idea how you do it. Everything tastes so good and has a good texture, even though it's gluten-free and sometimes vegan or something else free. You're a lifesaver. Erin couldn't help beaming at that. That was precisely the reason she had wanted to start the gluten-free bakery, so that people like Peter and Mrs. Foster had delicious choices and didn't have to feel left out. She wanted there to be something for everyone at Auntie Clem's bakery. Mrs. Foster placed her order, and Erin was busy for a few minutes getting everything packaged up. Mom, blueberry bagels, Peter pointed out. Can we get some, please? I'll eat them for breakfast. I don't want you harassing me to buy out half the store, his mother warned. I won't. That's the only thing. I won't ask for anything else. Of course, he knew everything else that his mother had already ordered. There was no need for him to beg for the regular bread, rolls, granola bars, or other things she'd already ordered. Fine, Mrs. Foster conceded. Erin knew that she always left a little flexibility in her order, knowing she would need to deal with Peter's negotiations. We'll take a bag of the blueberry bagels as well. Erin added it to the order. After Vic rang up the order, she helped to pack everything into a box for Mrs. Foster. Let me carry that out to the car for you. Then you don't need to juggle it and the baby at the same time. Of course, she would have to once she got home, and Peter and the older girls would be at school, so they couldn't help her. Mrs. Foster nodded. Well, all right. Peter led the family out of the bakery like so many little ducks walking in a line. Okay, and then I'm skipping ahead another scene here. Vic had taken out the Fosters' purchases and was back at the front counter when Erin finished with the batters she would want later in the day and returned to the storefront. There you are, Vic commented. Wasn't sure what you were up to. Erin glanced around. There were a couple of customers waiting, but no one who looked impatient or like they'd been waiting for a long time. She hadn't really been in the back long enough for anyone to be upset about the wait. Small-town life in Bald Eagle Falls was a slower pace. Just dealing with some day-old bread, Erin commented. Vic frowned and looked at her. I thought it was all in the freezer already. It was, but somebody needed it. Who would? Vic caught on suddenly. Well, that's good. Glad someone is coming by to get what they need. We had enough? Plenty and to spare. Good job. Erin nodded. She was inordinately happy that someone was taking advantage of her offering. She turned her smile onto Betty, one of her older customers. She always took her time making choices and could drive Erin crazy with her endless questions. Still, she was a good, steady customer who always came back looking for something for dinner or for the next event she was planning. Bridge night with the girls, or the grandkids coming over for Easter. There was always something going on. What can I get for you today, Betty? Oh, I already told that nice young lady, Betty assured her. Vic had already had a bag started. She pointed to the seeded bread. One of those, and then we're done. Erin wrapped it up, and while Vic rang everything up on the register. Erin wrapped it up while Vic rang everything up on the register. Betty paid for her purchase, carefully putting coins down on the counter as she added everything up. Thank you. See you again soon. Goodbye, Betty. Have a good day. The customer waiting patiently for Betty to finish was Beaver. Rohilda Bevan was a federal agent, living part of the time with Vic's older brother Jeremy, who had come to Bald Eagle Falls to get away from the family and their involvement with the Jackson clan, an organized crime syndicate operating in the Moose River area. Jeremy had been in and out of trouble, but that didn't seem to faze Beaver a bit. Maybe she liked flirting with the wrong side of the law. At any rate, she and Jeremy got along together like a house on fire, even though Beaver was a number of years older than Jeremy was. Hi, Beaver, Erin greeted. What can I get for you today? Actually, Beaver chewed vigorously on her omnipresent wad of gum, her strong jaw working up and down. I came to talk to Miss Victoria. Erin raised her eyebrows and turned her head to look at Vic to see whether she'd been expecting this. Vic looked just as surprised to hear that Beaver needed to talk to her as Erin was. You want to talk to me? What's up? Vic's eyes went over Beaver's serious face. Is something wrong? Did something happen to Jeremy? It wasn't that long since Jeremy had been shot on his job at Crosswood Farm, protecting a valuable ginseng crop. He had recovered quickly, and he hadn't quit his job there like Erin thought he would. Apparently he liked it enough, or made enough money at it, that a little thing like a bullet was not going to deter him. Beaver held up her hand. It isn't Jeremy. Vic swallowed and licked her lips. Then who? It's your father. Alrighty, so that is from A Fateful Plateful, available now on my website and the various online retail stores. You can order your copy today, have it on your Kindle or other e-reader instantly. And don't forget that it is also Celiac Disease Awareness Month. I have a blog post up on that as well if you want to read through what some characters might eat that is gluten-free, with some recipes linked to there. So enjoy that, and I will talk to you next week.